What do you do when you're at the point of passing down the family legacy farm? That's what we meet up with Matt Moreland to discuss. In Braymond, Oklahoma, the Moreland family has spent decades growing crops, raising cattle, and hauling grain across state lines, turning hard work into opportunity. But now, the future of Moreland Farms and Moreland Trucking isn't about the land or the business, it's about transition. After leading the operation, Matt's reached a moment every family farmer thinks about, handing over the reins.
Oh no, just in the last 2 or 3 years, it's like 100,000 a year they've gone up.
His 3 sons have each come back home, ready to take on what their dad has built and make it their own. Together, they're learning how to balance tradition with innovation, experience with fresh ideas, and a family's history with its future. This is a BulkLoads Feature on Moreland Farms.
Yep. Jared, good.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we met.
Back in Bartlett.
Yeah, it was like 20 years ago. But
yeah. My wife, Lisa.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Jared Flynn.
Nice
Pleasure to meet you.
Goes back to the Bartlett,
Okay.
connections.
Yeah.
Very good.
How old are the boys now?
Almost
30.
31,
Okay.
29, 25.
Okay.
We still call them our boys, as we
They'll
say. They'll
always
always
be
be
boys,
the
even when
boys.
they're
Are they all back here?
Yes,
Yes.
all 3
Oh.
in the back
Valley's
park.
when
So
we came
yeah.
back.
Where did they go to school?
Oldest and youngest, Oklahoma State. So
Yeah.
oldest, animal science, and then middle son went to Kansas State, ag technology management, and then youngest, Oklahoma State, ag business. So all of them ag background. When the oldest said he wanted to come back to the farm, I'm like, what? You know, surely you'll go find a good job somewhere. And it's like, no, we can make it work. And so we figured out how to, I'd say, make the pie bigger. We couldn't split it into more pieces.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, really, what year was he? What year did he graduate?
2016, December, early. Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of growth since then. We've more than doubled in our crop acres since 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So why is there so much traffic on this road? When we pulled off,
Yeah.
I mean, livestock trailers.
I-35, port of entries, both Oklahoma and Kansas. And they put them both pretty much within a mile of one another. So when you're southbound on 35, you're going to get pulled over into Oklahoma scales. When you're northbound on 35, you get the Kansas scales.
Okay.
Everybody knows all you have to do is get off at South Haven on 166, go 3 miles. You drive right back down here and catch the hypotenuse.
And
you miss all the scales. And Oklahoma built theirs late to the game. I'm like, why wouldn't you put it somewhere else? But, you know.
How many boys or how many children are there?
So of ours now, so we had 3 sons, but Marcus was the youngest. I was the middle child, and we've got an older sister.
Okay.
So, yeah. Fun fact, older sister and younger brother both went to Harvard. I'm the black sheep of the family. So I didn't really want to go out there. I wouldn't trade 2, but yeah. So
You got some smart genes in your family.
yeah, they did pretty well. And it's all right. Yeah, both our parents were math teachers, so we grew up with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dad drove to Wichita and taught math and farmed on his way home. You know, we farmed 200-300 acres when I was growing up. That's what we had. And then in 1988, I had an uncle that quit farming, kind of had to quit farming. And when he quit and left, my grandmother had owned that land, and I asked her, could we farm it? Well, Marcus, my brother, was 4 years younger. So he was a sophomore in high school, I was a sophomore in college, and we formed a partnership to farm that ground. And you look back now, 1988, you had an uncle that was taught to be an ag teacher that just gets sold out. You know, 80s, everybody's losing money every year.
Yep.
He's leaving. We asked Grandma, she says yes. She should have said no. I go to the bank right down here at Braymond, and they offer me loans at 14.5% interest to take over Uncle's place. They should have said no. But it was one of the best times to start, because when your back's against the wall,
Yeah.
you learn debt management, you learn to claw and, you know, put that away, and how to live on narrow margins.
Yeah, you're pinching
Yeah.
every penny when you got.
And it was terrible, you know. We kind of fought it along, you know, started with that 460 acres in 88. My wife and I got married in 91. We didn't have 550, maybe 600 acres we were farming on then. That was not a sustainable farm for a couple to live on.
Yeah. So today, and we'll see, but how many acres do you all span down in this area?
A little over 20,000 crop acres now.
20,000?
Yeah, yeah. So spread out from right here, we go 65 miles southeast to some irrigated, 650 acres of irrigated ground in one patch along the Arkansas River.
Yep.
We go back north to Wellington, we go over to Renfro, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Down south of Highway 11, a lot of ground in that Blackwell area. We are more now, every one of our acres follows this way. If we have wheat, it's going to get a double crop soybean on it. That's half of our acres. The other half of the acres are in corn. And those cornfields, as soon as they're harvested, they're planted back to wheat. It goes back wheat, double crop beans. So we do that 3 crops in 2 years type of thing. That's another competitive advantage is, get another crop. Some years you think you're wearing your equipment out getting that 3rd crop, and other years you're utilizing your equipment and getting good yields. Yeah. So that's what.
I guess why aren't more people doing that? Or why is there still people just doing traditional wheat on wheat?
Tradition. And it is risky to when you make that change.
But you can farm beans and corn down here. It's not that. Can't.
It's not unusual. Yeah, beans and corn work. I say it's even cultural. That first year when you've been a tillage guy and you spend most of your summer out there sitting on a tractor, working ground, and then you quit doing that and you go to no-till, you have had bred into your body, into your genes for years that I need to be out there working every day to prep for that next crop. And when you walk away from that, even when you go to town, you go to church with somebody like, did you work ground today or this week? No, I'm no-till. And they're like, what? Yeah.
Almost like a not fulfilling.
Right, you're not pulling your labor because this has been an industry that the strongest guy could be the strongest farmer. The boys, our sons are I'd say they grew up with a workaholic father who's recovering and they're still in that mode. So, they go hard. They work hard, they think hard, they're looking at ideas and how can we improve this thing all the time. So they brought a lot of value. Because again, I think it's about 19, they really started pushing me, we need to store our own grain. And I said, my deal is, I love commercial truckers. They've helped me, they've helped us grow. We would bring in commercial trucks, we'd keep good grain carts so we could load them fast. It's always been a deal. They make money if they can get in and out of our field. You don't want them, still today, when it's our own trucks and I'm paying drivers per hour, it wears me out when I got 4 trucks at the edge of the field. Can we get them out of here quick? Well, back in those days, when that grain hit their truck, the management ended. I didn't have to worry about keeping it in condition, keeping bugs out of it, any of that. And I thought when I was going to a grain elevator, Schooler's terminal up here, I thought, they're taking good care of me. They tell me they're giving me really good prices. Yeah, you learn to get some price discovery. And we went into this thinking we could find 20, 30 cents basis improvement by doing this. And it's been significantly more than that, everything we've done. What do you want to walk out here and we look at that first?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is an old ADM scrap leg out of the Ark City wheat mill, that square one. And that was to allow us to where we can be rolling corn, elevating corn while we're dumping wheat or soybeans, just giving us some redundancy to where we're not shut down because our corn customers need corn every month of the year. We can't tell them, oh, you didn't know it's wheat harvest? Yeah, you got to take care of them.
What's going on here?
So this is a ground pile. That's part of that. So we have about 230,000 bushels that call it our, dryland corn in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. You don't know what you're going to end up year after year. So this is when it rains in the summer, you end up using this ground pile. So we'll put 230,000 bushel out here over the next few weeks. We did not use it at all last year. So here's the crazy story of corn, about the same acres. One year we raised 220,000 bushels. The next year we were just under 1 million on the same acres.
220 and then the next one 1 million?
Yeah, that's the kind of swings we have in corn production. Now that 220 was a terrible summer that didn't rain at all. I hope that's the lowest we would ever experience. Wonderful thing in the whole ag industry is there are really no secrets. We're going to help each other and bring somebody along.
Help you at the same time.
Yep.
Kind of like trucking in the same way.
Right, yes, yep.
Like a lot of the companies, I know they help each other out, but they're also in a way kind of competing.
Well, and we get trucks that'll come in here, commercials hauling out, or we do a lot of equipment trials with largely CNH. We've done a little bit with AGCO too. And when those truckers come in here and unload, I'll say thank them. And I say, if you ever need a place, you have trouble, we got water, we've got air here, you've got a place to park, because we can't do this without the trucks that support this whole industry.
Your boys, how do they work together? Or I guess more importantly, how do people know their role in the business? Because it can be dicey with family members.
Oh yeah, it's a very difficult, and especially a younger worker coming in that's around their same age or younger, Or we've got some that are older than them. How do they take orders from one of the sons? Because I'm not always here as much, and I'm not always the one leading the day-to-day. You know, James or Will or David, you know, on each given time can be doing that. So a little different, you know, like we talked here about James being, you know, more at this grain facility. So with us learning to get the dryer going, he's definitely here, and he's kind of telling us back at the field, you know, what the heck, guys, you're dumping 27% moisture corn on me. That's a lot to try to dry. So we're, you know, balancing that. So the truckers, everybody hears that. What do we do? How do you balance that? Will kind of takes the lead on the agronomy and crop stuff.
Okay.
We've built that out. You know, we're doing more data management.
And that's just over the years, just kind of naturally, they've gravitated just
found that ways. And David is the king of dirt work. I mean, he does a lot of scraper work. He just grew up with an eye for, you know, and then
more your equipment operator.
Yeah, the equipment out there, track hoe, dozer, big scraper. You want to go in here and look around? So we built once, and then we.
So is this the main office slash scale house?
Yeah, that's kind of our footprint spread. So that stuff down there, down next to Moreland, there's, I don't think I can even just zoom in and we'll see the fields then. Yeah. So there's all those circles. It's big, you know, remote controlled irrigation. We can turn it on right here, right now with the phone. Control those pivots. 1,800 gallon a minute water wells. So that's why we go down there. It's one of our very good landowners we work with too. He needed a change, wasn't getting the results he wanted. Yeah, it's a long ways down there. One of the best things about it is youngest son David's down there spraying and put something on social media, Instagram, Snap or something. And a young lady that lives at Fairfax, like, boy, you're close to my place. He said, why don't you come over and ride with me? She comes over and gets in the sprayer. They got married last December.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that was worth the trip. Well, he was asking, well, who manages all this?
I'm James.
Hey, Jerry, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt was saying when you came back, like it was your idea for the storage. How did you find? How did you figure that out, or what led?
I'm not quite sure how we just, you know, you hear of it, knew of it.
I said, you know, all the boys you go
that it's like a school.
I would say
Will was in it
some
too.
school.
David. Yeah, I think all of you guys were seeing other bigger
I
operations.
think some operations. I mean, I'm on the Kansas Soybean Association with some younger guys, and you get at some meetings or groups, you know, and they get, you guys farm that much and you don't have any on-farm storage. And like every time we'd come to meet, they kind of poke fun at me and, you know, start making fun. Like, this guy farms all those acres. They have no on-farm storage. What a fool, you know? And that's like, well, yeah, we're working on it, guys. We're working on it. And you know, then we got, it was a point where it's like, you get that deep, and got to do something serious to make a dent, to make it work. And once we got over the hump that, you know, the storage was there and it might work, we give it a shot.
And hats off, I mean, that you were receptive of that. I mean, not just
it was a tough sell. No, I say it time and again, I was wrong, because it's one of the, you know, of all the metal I've purchased for our farm, you know, from a plow, disc, all that, to more modern no-tills, sprayers and stuff. This metal has returned us more dollars than any other metal we've purchased to use on the farm by just building the steel grain bin, storing it. Well, my pickup's out here. You guys all out there too?
Hey guys, we are well underway planning for the Bulk Freight Conference. It's scheduled for January 7th through the 9th, 2026 in Branson, Missouri. We're gonna have it again at the same place we did last year in Branson. It was a great event. We had over 700 attendees this next year. We think we are gonna double that. Make sure and go to the bulkfreightconference.com. Get your tickets scheduled. We're gonna have a lineup of keynote speakers, guest panelists, wide range of topics. We're gonna have entertainment, all your meals covered. Man, go to bulkfreightconference.com and get your tickets scheduled now. God bless. So do all the boys live relatively close?
Yes. So James, oldest, is the farthest away. He's 4 miles as a crow flies.
Okay.
And then Will and Aiden are right on down this road, so they're a mile north of our house. And then David and Faith will move in next week to a house here just about a mile away as well.
All married?
All married, yep.
Awesome.
And we've got 6 grandkids out of the first 2 marriages. David and Faith just got married in December.
How blessed are you?
Oh, yes. Oh, and get to see those grandkids, you know.
And all right here close.
Yeah, if you don't get to see them a couple times a week, you're like, I haven't seen anybody this week. You know? And my parents are still living and live a half mile from us. And
nice.
Dad just turned 93 last Friday. He helped a lot back in the tillage day. He was very questionable of no-till, but not as much he didn't question as much as my grandmother did, because she was the one that, believed you had to have that moldboard plow, that ground turned, it needed to be black and clean if you're going to plant. And then little by little, I convinced Grandma, I'm like, well, Grandma, remember, you never wanted the fields to blow. So if we leave that residue, they won't blow. And you spent a lot of money to build terraces after my grandfather died at 38. Here I've got one of the.
Your grandpa died at 38?
Yes, my mom's dad died at 38 plowing on a John Deere D tractor. Left my grandma and 4 kids, that 400 acres to farm. Grandma held it together. She would tell that she would always look for a June bride. Grandma was a school teacher. They would plant the wheat, look for a June bride that would be pregnant by second semester of the school year. Couldn't be a teacher if you're pregnant and showing. So she'd be off. Grandma would take that job second semester. School would be out in time for wheat harvest. She'd be back home. Then my mom's oldest brother took over the farm and ran it. And then she, full-time school teacher then. And then, back in those Bartlett wheat tour days, I could tell those guys when Grandma was living, she could drive by this wheat field and tell you more what it's going to make at 40 miles an hour than we could walking through it all day. She'd seen a lot of wheat crops through her years. So.
I'm just curious, you may or may not want to share, like having 3 boys, they got to support the farm, but like, how do you figure out? I'm just so
compensation or
how do you figure out compensation? I mean, because you being at the helm, like you got to be fair, but you also got to keep the operation going.
Well,
like, that's got to be.
So we built it as a partnership, and I have to say the first couple of years of partnership, it was more me saying, here's how we're going to do it. It needs to be. And now it's more of a, let's all vote on it. There are 5 of us, we're going to vote. The compensation piece is tough because built this thing by plowing most of our earnings back into it. It'd have been nice to have this lake house or to have this, RV or side-by-sides and all these things. We've got all the toys we need.
Yeah.
But through the years, there's always more things you could buy away from the farm. Yeah. You got to keep the money in the business to grow it. So their compensation compared to their college friends that, got the same education but went to work in industry and for, large ag companies, they don't make that kind of money. But theirs is coming, in the equity build in the long term. So what we do is we have partnership distributions that everybody gets monthly. And then when we have a good crop, we get bonuses within those partnership distributions. And with the wheat crop, we had a tremendous wheat crop this year. So we had some good distributions added in there. So come on in, guys. We're going to do a quick tour here.
Yeah.
Hello, Lisa. Said, are there any old photos? I said, well, we're the old married couple, and we'll always tell the same story. So here's a great one. So she just found this recently. So here the boys had that idea to build a grain facility, and she found that picture of them.
Dude, how cool is that?
Yeah. So that's like, maybe James was 12 or 10 or 12 or something like that. And here's the ones. This is what the house we bought in '88 to start fixing up. Just because, again, my grandparents had lived here. It's where I got together with my older cousins. And in '88, bought it, had to have it jacked up because you could walk in and out of the basement here or the north side of the house because the foundation was gone. Mm-hmm. So little by little worked on it. But this is my dad's mother, my grandmother that lived here in front of this sewing machine at that door. So there's a lot of context and memories right there because I can remember her. She made us Raggedy Ann dolls, stuff with that sewing machine. So Lisa had that fixed up for me a year ago or so. So a lot of mornings, I said my dad will come down for coffee. But if one of the boys have one of their kids, we'll have 4 generations here in the morning planning what we're going to do.
Because they all come for breakfast and kind of plan the day.
Every morning almost?
Every morning here.
During the week.
Yeah.
What time?
A little after 7:30 to 8, they're rolling in.
Coffee's ready at 6:45. And his dad will drive on his Can-Am and we help him.
Yeah, he pulls right up, straddle the sidewalk, and then we'll hear him pull up. Somebody goes out now, and we always try to help him in some. But he'll tell us, he tells us what we're doing wrong each day.
Yeah. Mostly cattle. He's still,
What will he say?
Well, he's like, why hasn't Garrett fed those cows? We've got lots of hay. Why aren't we feeding them hay? And, we feed a total mixed ration every day out of a feed mixer, anything that's in a lot. And they're getting everything they need. They get their protein, their energy, they're getting their fiber, and it's all there. But he's like, and he used to get in a tractor and grab a bale and dump it over the fence to him. And it just, why is he doing this?
He used to drive our oldest crazy because he's the cattle guy. And now that's why he's still kicking at 93.
Yeah.
He's finding purpose.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That's why he's still going at 93 is every morning he gets up like, I got to get out. I got to get out and get going. So I tell this story a lot. Again, we're 34 years of marriage. You've heard each other's stories. But there's a guy, Lance Woodbury, that's a great ag transition consultant. You see him in farm magazines, and we know Lance pretty well. And I said, this is an example. It's not Lance's story, but someone's up there giving this talk about transition planning, and this, older man sitting on the front row just watching every word. And as soon as they're done, he's like, well, sir, I've got a question for you. What's the right age to start letting the next generation make decisions? And the presenter will say, well, you look probably, I don't want to guess your age too old, but you're probably in your 70s. It's probably time that you have someone else there on the farm ready to take over and make a decision. He's like, oh, hell no, I'm asking about trying to get my dad to let me make a decision. And that's what happens. Too many farm, it's like, they got to hold on to that control. Yeah, right. The other one's always done it this way. It's why people don't make changes.
If I can ask, what's the biggest conflict, though, if there is conflict among?
Probably expansion. I mean, are we going to take on this ground or buy that pasture? I mean,
that's more the bigger general. I'm going back between day to day is what direction are we going today and how are we going to attack it? And that's kind of why we try to do that meeting here, and then go across the road with everybody else as a together front of here's what we're doing, here's our plan, and take that to the workers that way. Well, let's go over to the field.
Finally caught you, Jared, Flynn. Good to meet you. Yeah. What are you doing right now?
I've been out calibrating combines, or taking a mile north where we've been working, calibrating yield monitors on there with the scale and the grain cart.
Yeah, so calibrating grain carts or calibrating combines means you cut some. Tell us how you go through that.
Yeah, so you basically pick what the combine thinks is a known weight by its pressure plate in the grain, and then that amount when you dump it on a grain cart. The grain carts have scales that we can calibrate based on our big scale.
Yeah.
And so when we dump the weight that it says, well, like one I just did, and it thought I had 5,500 pounds, and actually I dumped 6,100 pounds based on the grain cart.
Huh?
So on that much, that's 10% difference. So it was worth the time to go out there and do that.
That was on my combine?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was luckily high.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you'd rather,
It was more amount that I dumped, so it was under.
So I've been seeing less yield than we're actually harvesting in the field, which will make me happier.
Yeah. So it's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm following you.
Yeah.
We'll see the combine?
Yeah, we'll run on over there. And
are you all running all three in one field, or how does that work as far? Okay.
Yeah.
So they all kind of stay together when
Yep.
At wheat harvest, we actually run 4.
Yeah. It's a logistical deal moving along, but
some people at times think, well, you got to split them up, and we've considered it. But our smallest fields often, there's some 80-acre fields, but there's also a full quarter section, 160 close to it. So take them all to an area, get all the trucks headed to the area, and it works well together that way still.
Do you and your brothers hang out outside of the farm work environment?
Yeah, pretty often. We had dinner the other night too.
Monday night back,
Grandpa, actually.
Friday, last Friday, and
he just turned 93.
Yeah, 93 last Friday. Yeah, and it had been that my mom would do Sunday lunch for us every Sunday, and honestly, between her getting a little older and tired, not wanting to do that, but probably once or twice a month now is okay too, because you also need time away.
Cool. We'll go hit the cornfield.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing about farming now? I know it's probably changed from what it would have been 20 years ago. But
I think it is the weather. It's the weather, that what we're up against. Maybe it's because we're bigger and we have to cover more acres, but we have bigger equipment too. But it's still, when it's go time, we have to go so hard. Balancing that with everybody else's work life, whether it be our sons or, all the other people that work with us. Everybody has a family at home, and they have to understand the seasonality that we're going to go really hard, but there's going to be a lot of other times of the year. If you need to be gone or take off, we want you to be gone. We want you to be at your family's events. Mm-hmm. But that family also is hired on to work with us because they have to understand, okay, we were picking corn last night, and we went till 9 because we thought it was going to rain, and we've been rained out so many times. So, it's not a 9 to 5, 8 to 5 job. That it ebbs and flows of the season. So, and that balance of keeping all the workers happy and their spouses and families happy too. And
but the boys coming up though, and again, I don't know, it's probably not a certain period, but when will that transition more to them and less of you?
Oh, it already has. My wife and I were gone 10 days during wheat harvest this year. I didn't think July
that the
9th.
grease strip?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't think July 9th would be wheat harvest because it's usually done by the 1st or 4th of July. But we had more rain than we've ever seen in June and July, backed us up.
Was that one of your first times being gone?
That's for that amount of time during the key harvest. I'm in an ag policy group called Farm Foundation, and we have a June meeting every year that usually falls around the 15th, 18th of June, which is right at our wheat harvest. But they understand, they're like, Dad, you need to be there, so they support it. I go to that. But that's usually 2 days. But this deal being gone 10 days, that was painful for me. But, you know, they can handle it. There's no question. They did fine, did a great job with it. And all of our workers, too, you know. Just team members that did so well, and because it was difficult, mud and trouble, and combines getting stuck and pulling them out, and nobody got hurt, no equipment got damaged. It was a win, and they got it harvested. But little by little, you know, I say I don't plan to retire. I love what we do every day, but I want to be gone more, you know, and do more things. And so let's head back and catch David for, yeah, South Haven, and that's, you know, we support there a lot.
Seems like it's a clean town.
It is. It's a clean little town. That's Neelish Nahi that owns the Motel 6. Needed a house facing the east. We got no problem with his religion. Everybody loves Neil. I get emotional talking about my town. Back during COVID, Lisa thought she was really sick and wanted Sprite. And I went out to Neil's. And I didn't have the cash to pay him. And I'm like, here, I'll put it on my card. And he's like, no, buddy. No, buddy. You pay me later. You take that home. I told her that Lisa wasn't feeling well. And here's this Pakistani, you know, Muslim, and just being that good. And that's how Neil is to the whole community. And it's one of those things that right here in rural America, you know, don't need to use me crying, but I'm a grandpa and it happens easily because I show my emotions. I love people. But we live in this community and we get along like this whole country should. We shouldn't have those divides. We know that Neil's a good person. He doesn't worship the same people we do, but I don't hate him for that.
That's the freedom that we have in this country.
That's right. Yeah, we love that, and we want that. And yeah, he was out there in the skid steer or telehandler. Oh, get out of the sun or something.
So your main role, like we were kind of talking, like each boy kind of does something different, but yours is really the.
What would you say?
Construction probably is like 100, I don't know, I'd say 100% mine, but I can do most of that.
Like operating?
Yeah, running that scraper, the track hoe,
doing like earthwork and stuff like that.
And then I do a lot of the spraying. We've hired some guys to do that, or Will does that also. But yeah, we're sitting in a track hoe a lot, scraper.
A lot of the wheat sowing, you kind of learn the big case air drill and some of its intricacies.
When we first went to an air drill, I kind of ran that for the first couple of years. You've done a lot of it too, but do a little bit of everything, but probably the construction is the biggest thing that's to me, I guess you'd say. Because I used to want to truck a lot more, but realize now we have drivers hired, and that's kind of what they do. I like trucking and doing that, and kind of been more involved in purchasing the trucks and what we like and trailers. And
Man, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Matt, thank you so much
it was
for
great.
your time.